Anybody who's watched our progression through our series of videos over the last few years will know that we used to always go for a week in France, but since we've had our cafe we don't like to be too far away. Last year we had a week on the paddock lake at Tobler Manor, and this week we're at the Bearley complex. We're on Rowan Lake and we're staying in a really lovely mobile home. We've been here before, only for a weekend a couple of years ago. We've just set up, we're about to have an evening meal, and our holiday begins. Let's hope we catch some fishies. Although we love the ridge monkey, sometimes it's just not big enough. This is the grill to go, and look at the size of those gammon. That's tea tonight. Morning. It's a little after 5 o'clock. I've just got up, put my rods back in. We decided not to fish through the night last night. It's quite nice to have a decent night's sleep. Start again fresh this morning. We didn't manage anything in the afternoon, but we didn't try very hard. Today the fishing starts proper, and what a gorgeous morning it is. This is why we do it. It's great to be alive this time of the morning. Everything's so beautiful. Absolutely lovely with the sun coming up now. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. We got this lake all to ourselves. Well, over in the distance you can see that Luke has finally got out of bed. He's setting his bivvy up as his day shelter because he's going to fish over the other side of the lake. He seems to think he might be doing the nights, but I somehow doubt it. But at least he's making an effort. Let's hope he catches some. Been very quiet, had the odd beep, but not managed anything at all yet. But we've got a long time to go.
Well, here we go. First catch of our holiday. £12.4. Right little stunner.
There she goes. It looks like somebody's tired.
Okay, got a new dish for you for the ridge monkey. I'm going to cook some mussels today. Moules mariniere, which is a classic dish but takes about 5 minutes to make, so it's a really good one, really tasty. So we've got some fresh mussels which you can buy just in 200 gram lots. The way to check them is to squeeze them, as you probably missed that, but this one closed firmly shut, so he's all alive and good. You don't want to eat mussels that are looking damaged or opened. or indeed don't open upon cooking. So just be mindful of that, and don't keep them too long in the heat. If you are by the bank, make it one of the first meals that you eat if you are banking up menus. Right, so for moules mariniere, we're literally going to steam the mussels in some white wine. We add some cream, some parsley, and we've got some dunking bread, so it couldn't be easier really. I have forgotten the garlic, but garlic can be in it. It won't jeopardise the dish by not being there. So let's get this making now. So gas and oil, is it?
You don't turn the gas on.
Okay. So first thing we need to do is get this pan really hot, and then we're going to add the white wine. Okay, we've got a bit of smoke coming off the pan, so we're just going to add some white wine to it. Doesn't really matter how much, you're just using it as a steaming method. So there we go, white wine in. Just going to get that hot. That's the next thing. So I can feel that's hot. We literally just tip the mussels in. It's as simple as that. And now I'm going to shut the lid down because I want the whole thing to steam and form a bit of a chamber in there. Right, as you can see, we've got a lovely lot of steam coming from around the pan there. Just have a look. You'll now notice all these are open. All bar one there, which I'm just going to hoik out. All the rest are open. So we just need to reduce this wine a little bit. And then we're going to add the cream. We've got the wine bubbling, as you can see. It's reduced down a little bit. So it's just a simple question of adding some cream. Now, as cream boils, or double cream boils, it thickens, so it makes a nice sauce. So now we just need to bring the whole thing to the boil, and that will make the dipping tool to eat with your bread and your mussels, which makes a classic dish what it is. So we have our thickened cream and wine. We have all the flavours going on there. All there is to finish now is just put some chopped parsley in. There we go, and just move it all around. Job is done then. So all we have to do is just tip it now into the bowl to serve. There we go. And there we have a perfect light lunch to eat by the bank. We've got some lovely fresh rosemary and focaccia bread there. Your mussels with parsley and white wine. What could be nicer?
Happy days. Okay, finally, I've got one. I got up 5:15 this morning, put my rods out. It's now 9:30 at night, and it's taken all day. Not a big fish, but pretty common. £12.6. Taken on the mad baits. Way steady. Taken on the mad baits. Real fish, my test bait, and the rhino beans lighting the scene. Happy days, let's put it back. The one angry comment wants to go home. Thank you, darling. Off you go. You tired, mate? Well, it's nearly bedtime, and as you can see, as bivvies go, this is pretty good for a bivvy. The rods are still in, just outside, all bar the one I just caught the fish on. I did go out with the camera just now just to try to do a little clip, but it's got too dark. We sorted out that fish and we came back in to finish watching Poldark on TV. Sometimes some things are more important than fishing. So basically we're going to wind in again tonight and have another good night's sleep, and we'll start again in the morning. We've still got another 4 days. There's no rush. And to be fair, there's no monsters in here. There's a few 20s, and that's really what we'd like to catch. But it's been moody today, really hard work. Margot managed one first thing this morning, I've managed one last knockings tonight, and Luke, despite being off on his own all day, has struggled and not had any joy at all. Fingers crossed for tomorrow. That's what we do. We go fishing and we go cooking. That's why we're cooking and carping. We'll see you in the morning. Morning. What a difference a day makes. Yesterday was gorgeous and sunny. Today, overcast and cloudy. But that suits me fine, because the weather is much more carpy, and this morning there's some fish showing, whereas we didn't see a fish all day yesterday. Just before I wound the rods in last night, I did have another chance, but the hook pulled. So the rods are back on the spots, and I'm fishing again. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. Margot and Luke are still asleep, but I'm back on it. I don't expect they'll be far behind. See what unfolds today.
Okay, a bit of a new dish for you today. It's a breakfast, or it could be a dessert, whichever way you want to play it, although quite a healthy breakfast and a bit tasty and breaking away from the bacon and things. So we're going to make Scotch pancakes with pan-fried plums, and then we've got some very special Dorset yoghurt which we're going to serve with it. So we're going to do this on the Quad Connect stove and the combi pan. So we're going to give them a full exercise this morning and get them into play. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is pan frying the plums. So we're going to turn on our stove and we're in business. I've got a little bit of butter here. You could just use oil, but the flavour of the butter on the plums is very good. So we'll go with that. Makes like a fudgy flavour. There we go. And while that melts, we're just gonna. We've got a little bit of sugar. My bag of sugar for the week. We're gonna chuck in a handful of sugar. And then when that melts or starts to get hot, we're going to add the plums, and they'll just very slowly pan fry, while in the meantime we will crack on with the pancakes. Okay, as you can see, that has melted and become quite fudgy. Right, I need my toolkit. As of yet they don't do a toolkit for the combi pan, but I've got the one from XL here, so we're still in business. So as you can see, we've got butter and sugar mixing well together there. We just add our plums. I've just halved and stoned these, but you could use apple, you could use apricots, whatever's in season. Just that plums happen to be in the here and nows and are looking good. So those are just going to gently pan fry. I'm going to leave them to do their thing. Next we need to focus on the pancakes. So in here I have self-raising flour, because that gives the pancakes a little bit of lift. The ratio for pancakes is 4 ounces, or 100 grams of self-raising flour. I tend to throw it together because I know the thickness that I'm looking for. Usually add a spoonful of sugar, that's usually enough. Then I need an egg, which I've forgotten. So Mr. Dimmer, would you want to give me an egg? We're going to mix the flour and sugar together, and then an egg. Thank you. So we add our egg, beat that yolk up a little bit, and then we're going to add some milk. Now the pancake mixture needs to be thicker because they're Scotch style pancakes than ordinary sort of pancake day thin pancakes. I'm just mixing that together once I know I've got the right consistency. little bit more. Give these a little bit of a shake around. So there we go, we're getting to the right place now. So I'm looking at that and thinking it needs a little bit more flour, so I'm just going to add an extra spoonful in, which will do it no harm at all. It's better to have the right consistency. When I put it in the pan, I need it to hold its shape a little bit when it hits the heat. A little bit more. We've milked it. So there we go, we've got quite a thick consistency going on here. That's perfect now. It's trailing a little bit in the pan. That's what we want for it to be the right shape. Okay, I just need to give these plums a stir. In fact, just turn them over. See how they're starting to caramelise? That's where all the flavour's going to be. And they smell amazing. There we go, they're not going to be too much longer. So now we need to get our other pan heated up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the bottom, or you could use a bit of butter and oil if you want the flavour, which is in fact probably what I'm going to do. If you mix butter and oil together it won't burn as well, but if you try and do butter on your own, on its own, it will burn. Just a little tip there. We need to get that pan hot now. So as you can see, our pan's hot, our plums are doing their thing. We're just going to drop spoons of the pancake mixture into the pan. About a spoonful is a good amount because you want little ones. And try and get them as round as you can. Get one in the middle there. There we go. I just need my slice here. So as you can see, they're starting to rise and they'll be browning on the underside. So we need to get a nice golden colour off of them. As you can see, our plums are just doing their thing and they just will only just get better and better sat in the pan there on a low heat. So we're going to try and turn one over now. There we go. This whole dish is actually quite a quick dish. Whoops. Just going to lean up to do that one. There we go. See how they've come up lovely and thick? That's because of the raising agent in the self-raising flour. There we go. So we just need to make sure the middle of it is set now, because obviously the batter's raw in the middle. Just need a nice steady heat to achieve that. And then we're nearly ready to serve up already. Okay, so now I'm going to lift them up. I might just turn off that gas a minute. Get them set up on the plate here. There we go. Just get rid of the mess I've got here. So next thing, we just need to serve up our plums. As you can see, look, they're lovely and juicy. Lovely and caramelised. Just going to serve it up. Doesn't get much easier than this really. Now just down the road from us we have the most amazing yoghurt company, the Dorset Dairy Co. They make a Greek style yoghurt which is just a die for, to be honest. We use it all the time in our cafe and we're going to serve this up exactly with this yoghurt. So in here I've got some I've decanted off because we buy great big catering tubs of the stuff. So here we go, it's lovely thick creamy yoghurt. Look, you just need a big spoonful of that on the side. And then I think you could say life is pretty plum sweet at the moment for breakfast. Look at that. Okay, we're going slightly back over something we've done before, but with a slight difference. Poached eggs. Poached eggs in a monkey, I can't tell you just how good they are. They are just the best thing ever. So we're just going to take you back on that little bit of road, but with a slight difference, and show you how to do them in the combi pan, because we haven't actually done them in that. So first thing first is we're going to turn on the gas. There we go. What I'm going to do is poach an egg in each of these pans. We're going to put some beans in here and toast in here. The lid will be the steam part of it, which is what you need for the poached eggs. So I'm just going to half fill 2 sections. And we need to get that hot first of all, then the rest will follow. Okay, as you can see now we have a rolling boil. So what we're going to do is crack the eggs, 1 in each, into each section. Make sure you've got nice fresh eggs, otherwise they don't poach so well, they just disperse in the pan. And then in the next section, just going to put some baked beans, as is Mr. Dimmer's want for his breakfast.
Oh, I don't like plums.
And then in this section, we're just going to start toasting. We've got all our sections there sorted out. We're just going to roll the lid over, because the great thing about this ridge monkey is you're just going to steam the poached eggs. It's going to be 2 minutes. I may have to look at the toast in between, but 2 minutes starts now. Okay, we're a minute in, so I'm just going to check the toast here. As you can see, it's all doing very nicely there. So we'll turn over our toast, shut the lid, another minute to go. Okay, minute passed, let's just have a look. We've got a piece of hot toast here. I'm just going to move the beans more onto the heat so they get some heat there. Butter up the toast. Okay, so all we need to do now is just to lift out our poached eggs. Drain the water off as best you can. There we go. Whoops. There. Just going to give the beans a little bit of a direct heat there. And then we're all good to go. I reckon that should do it. So now we just need to beans on the plate. And there you have it. Really simple breakfast. Pretty healthy too.
Finally, it looks like Luke's got one. Let's get it on the map.
9:14, caught on wicked nuts glugged in hemp oil.
Talkative chap, isn't he? Well, it's been very quiet here. We've only had 1 fish each, but perhaps this rain's going to bring them on, because I sat in the shed tidying my tackle box and it ripped off. Not a monster fish, but just look at this stunner here. £10 one, scraper double, and what a pretty fish. It fought like it's never been hooked before. It really did fight for its life. So let's get it back in the lake where it belongs. Off you go then. Go home. I said the rain was good.
So that was a good cast.
It was a good cast. Mrs. Mad's playing fish number 2. Is that up?
Pretty one.
It's not finished yet. Nice.
I knew that was a good cast. Well, here we go. I'd literally come back down because my parents are coming for a barbecue in a minute and recast my rods, so I was down this end of the lake next to the mobile home. 5 minutes later, this little screamer. It was a good cast. I knew it was a good cast and was pleased with it and commented at the time. But it's, what weight was it? It was
10-13.
10-13. It's just always good to catch a fish, to be honest.
They're all pretty, aren't they?
Happy days.
There are big ones in here.
See you later.
I'd have thought it was twice as big as that. No, get out. Right, got it. Lost me back, mate. Well, we just had dinner. Absolute one-toner. Fish has gone behind the point of the island and I've managed to get it out by running round to the next peg. I thought it was going to be one of the bigger ones, but it's another plastic. £10 15, but it is one of the pretty blue ones. Certainly gave a good account for himself. The fish in here seem to be fighting really well, probably because the water temperature's so warm. Yet again, taking on the pure fish from Mad Baits. They're loving it in here. Castaway solid PVA bags as well. Let's put them back.
Can't go from there, mate. You have to come out over. There we go.
Well, the morning started off pretty dismal and overcast, and we've had quite a lot of rain today. But it's cleared up. We've caught some fish today. Alright, only little ones, but we're catching fish. And now, the day's going to finish with an absolutely gorgeous sunset. When people sometimes ask me, why do you go fishing? It's moments like this, and moments like just before, when I caught a fish, and it just made my day. What a beautiful evening. Morning. A bit later today. I did get up early and do the rods, but nothing's happened. All our neighbours here seem quite happy. Right in the middle of nowhere we are, really. It is a working farm though. You can probably hear the machinery in the background. It's a lovely peaceful place. It's another overcast day. showers forecast. To be fair, it looks really carpy. Hardly anything showing there, and they're proving really hard to catch. We'll keep plodding away though. Seems to switch on a bit more in the evenings. Funny, last time we were here it was very much early morning. But there, that's fishing.
Well, we were having a very leisurely morning, reading magazines, cruising Facebook, and Steve just had a screaming run right off the point of the island over there, as you can see. It's all been very quiet. The weather is warming up a bit, so we're hopeful for a few more bites today. So in control there, look at him. Maybe not so in control. He's off. A little common. Haven't seen too many commons, have we?
Second one.
Hmm?
The second one. I'll talk about a scrappy common. This little baby is only £6, but he thought he was 56, I think. Nearly took out all the other rods. It's a good job we were back bedded. Another one of the real fish from Mad Baits. They're going to proper take the mick out of me for this one. That's a proper pasty.
Keen to get off.
Get your head up over, is it? There we go. A little bit bigger. 13-15. Taken on a hinge stiff rig this time. On a white strawberry compulsive angler pop-up. Still over the real fish boilies, so. Again, you can tell the water's really warm. They're fighting like anything. Pretty fish, and nice to be a bit bigger. Well, Margot does like her cooking gadgets. This one's a log-fired pizza oven. We used it on paddock last year, and we've used it at the cafe on evening events. But we're going to have pizza for lunch today. Homemade pizza. By the bank. Well, I just lost one. Not more than 10 minutes ago. Margot's redone her rods. She's in again.
Well, here we go. After a period of silence, my casting over to the lilies since we arrived has paid off. 16.3, caught on CTS. This makes me happy.
Okay, another little one, 11.2. absolute screaming run. Bit of a plodding fight, and I thought it was going to be bigger, but no. At least we're putting a few fish together now. We started to increase the bait as we're getting a few more bites. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll get a few of the bigger ones, because they've not been out for a while apparently. Sometimes they're a bit like buses. Certainly putting a few together now.
To the island. Something like that, maybe. Okay, something like that.
Be aware of all the other rocks.
Trying.
Let it go round.
Yeah. Well, this one's rather a beauty. 17.8, caught on the CTS again. My margins over on the island are starting to pay off. My casting's getting sharper, which I think's helping. And we're reaping some rewards now. Lovely jubbly.
Really pretty one. Well done, babe.
His name's right.
Well, after that flurry of fish this afternoon, it's all gone quiet again. The forecast rain hasn't arrived, and in fact the sun's just come out. It's a rather pleasant evening. Margot's in the mobile home, cooking curry for tea. Luke's still plugging away, although he struggled again today. I think we've just got to take the opportunity to maximise what we can from these little windows when the fish are happy to feed. They've stopped showing again, but it's getting near bite time. So we'll get some curry down us, and fingers crossed for a few more. Well, look at this bristly little fella, 9.5 pounds of pure anger. I took him off the point of the island, he went back in the bay and managed to get to the back of the lilies, but I showed him who was boss and brought him back through again. Another one on the pure fish, take them and cast away, solid bag. They seem to like that presentation here. Not a lot more to say other than the fact that I wish he was twice as big. Never mind, at least we're getting our strings pulled. Let's slip him back. Well, there we go. Another day over. As you can see, it's getting dark now. That bright light over in the distance is Luke still trying to catch another fish. Fair play to him, because he's been really proper struggling. Not for doing anything wrong. Myself and Margot, we've just had a couple of chances that we managed to take. He's just not getting those chances. Not even really know why. The bites are coming out of the blue completely. It doesn't seem to matter what you do. We've tried cutting back the feed, increasing the feed, casting tight, casting a little bit off, and they come from anywhere. Hopefully tomorrow will be his day, but we're here tomorrow and we're here Thursday, so we've still got a couple of days to go at it. We're not going to fish tonight again. When we decide it's bedtime, we'll wind in and just get to sleep in the mobile home. It's a holiday after all, so we've not even got the beds out of the van. So if we catch any more before we go to bed, we'll show you. If not, we'll see you in the morning. Okay, it's midnight. I've been getting funny beeps all night. Finally this one went off. Thought stupidly, it's taken out my other 2 rods, just as well we're going to wind them in for the night. But what a pretty fish. 14 pound on the nose, another one of the pure fish from Mad Baits in a solid castaway PVA bag. Seems to be working. Just wish they'd get a bit bigger, but do you know what? This is a really lovely fish. Imagine this at £30. Thank you, darling. Well, it's a wet one this morning. Blowy too. Another fisherman on today. Just flew in across the swim above my rods. Don't seem to mind the rain. Nose on here. He's actually picking slugs and things up off the reeds, I think. Wonder if he'll have more luck than I'm having at the moment. Let's get this camera out of the rain.
Well, this one suddenly came out of nowhere this morning. 13-12, fully scaled. Rather stunning, don't you agree?
Pretty fish. You're getting all the pretty ones. Early afternoon slumber, and she's in again. Let's go and net it.
There we go. That's a little bit of a stunner, isn't it? £7. Tight into the margin over on the island. Very pleased with that one, if it's only little.
Were you asleep again?
I might have been. I got a bed head.
Pretty fish.
Very pretty.
Turn it again. Well, it's been a long couple of days for Luke. The bites just haven't been forthcoming for him, but he's plugged away. And finally, a 12-2 common. Well, it's sort of common. It's common this side. Put him down and turn it round, Luke. There we go. Right. There we go. Tip his back slightly forward. That's better. There we go. Look, it's got like a patch, a fully scaled mirror on him. Dumpy little fish. And a happy boy. Well done, mate. Well, Dave did tell me there's a few skimmers in here, and I've only gone and caught a skimmer, am I? I wouldn't normally show you one, but this skimmer goes £7.12. So it's quite a big bream, really. I've had bigger, but it's a big fish. Happy days. Well, The sun's beginning to set and it's supper time. Normally Luke winds in, comes back, and that's him done for the night. We thought this was a bit unfair, so both myself and Margot have given up one each of our spots so that Luke can carry on fishing till bedtime. He's got one out, now he's got to put one out on my spot. That's going to cause some confusions if the alarms go off in a bit, but never mind. Seems only fair. Well, it's 6 o'clock in the morning on our final day. We're going home today. We've got to go to work tomorrow. It's the perils of having your own business, I suppose. But we need to be there tomorrow, so we have to go home. It's another gorgeous, gorgeous morning. Just as we started our week, it's going to finish the same way. Just before we went to bed last night, I had another little fish, 11.5 pound common. I didn't bother to film because we were already on our way to bed. My rods are back out, and I'm still hopeful for one of those big ones, because there are some in there. I believe up to around 28 pound. And there is one particular fish, one of the big orange ones, that I know is going to be mid-20, and that's the one I'd really like to see on the bank. So one last day to try and do it. But just look at the place. It's lovely this morning. Makes up for that miserable rainy day yesterday. But
Good size. Shush.
Well, today's our last day, and we're sort of having a slow pack down, sorting out the mobile home, because we've got to work tomorrow. And I've just had a run right on bite time, and finally I've been rewarded. Now, we've weighed this fish 3 times and zeroed the sling, because it is 20 pounds, no ounces. It is exactly 20 pounds. And there we go. I told you there were some bigger fish in here, and they go bigger than this as well. This one was taken on a hinge stiff rig on a new Ester Blend compulsive angler pop-up from Mad. Well happy with this one. Made my holiday. Okay, sweetheart, you ready?
Keep your left arm back a little bit.
Happy boy.
Okay, another dish for you to try. Sweet chili chicken. We're going to put all this together. We've got Philadelphia with sweet chili, some fresh chicken breast. We've got some of my own sweet chili sauce, but you could use any sweet chili sauce. We've got pak choy, baby corn, and a run for Steve. Change that camera over.
Yeah, we can set it up again. You pick the moments, don't they?
The net over there. Already out.
Well, just as we were starting some ridge monkey cooking, this scrappy £10 4 common screamed off, and he's still not giving up now, so let's get him back in the water.
Okay, take two. After Steve had just had that run, we'll start again. So we're going to make sweet chilli chicken, which we've got the Philadelphia with sweet chilies, we've got the chicken breast, we've got my own brand of sweet chili sauce, but as I said you can use any. We've got baby corn, monge out of our very own garden, and pak choy, and finally some lime and coriander rice, but you could use whatever rice you fancy. So first thing I'm going to do is open up the chicken breast. I'm going to take the lid off of this, because I'm going to have chicken all over my fingers in a second, and I don't want to be handling the tub any more than is necessary. So you get your chicken breast, you've got the loose supreme here, and what I'm going to do is just make a slit down inside as deep as I can without going through. So you can see there you've got like a crevice which I can then put the cream cheese into. I do that with both of them. Okay, then we'll get our cream cheese. Just going to put that inside of there and try and close it up as best I can. Same with that one. There we go. Next thing we need to do actually is just wipe my hands. That would be good. Okay, we're going to light the ridge monkey. There we go. It's all lit. We're going to have a dash of oil in the bottom of the pan, just to form a seal on the chicken when we cook it. We're going to get the pan hot first, and then we'll start pan frying it. Into the other two sections I need to bring some water to the boil, just to steam the vegetables. So I'm going to put water in both, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water in this one just to steam up the microwave rice. Now we just need to wait for all that to get hot. So I've got my water on, got the oil hot, just going to put the chicken in here. And then we're just going to fry that all the way round before we do anything further. We almost want to 3 parts cook it. Okay, as you can see the chicken's been frying off nicely. I have had the lid closed for a little time just to create some steam. I'm now going to turn it over. Don't worry if the cream cheese comes out a little bit, that's fine. It'll all end up in the sauce, so it's not a bad thing. I'm just going to fold over the lid, create some steam, and leave it for another 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, let's have a look.
What? Oh, is it? Alright, yeah, I've got all of them. Okay. Alright. Yeah. The EA are coming to check our licenses. Yeah. Crack on.
Okay. Okay, so our chicken's doing quite nicely there. It's firming up. So the next stage is to put some corn in the water. Probably not all of this corn. There we go, and some of the mange too. Oops. That can go in there. And then the pak choy, we just simply cut in half lengthways. Cut out the root, like so. I'm just going to cut it in half just to get it into the ridge monkey, like so.
Hello.
Hiya.
Very civilised.
Looks like this video is doomed to failure. First of all a run, and then a visit from the EA to check our licenses.
Okay, so we've been checked, all is well. We have our chicken with chili Philadelphia in the middle. We've got our corn cobs with our homegrown mange too. We've got our pak choy. And as I was about to do, we've got lime and coriander rice. I've got a little bit of water in there because although it's a microwave rice, obviously we're cooking it on the ridge monkey, so I need to just kind of steam it up a little bit. So we'll put that in. Break up those lumps. Jobs are good then. So now we just need to get it all boiling up a bit. I'm going to put that a bit more square on because before I was trying to concentrate on the chicken, and the great thing about this new cooking stove from Ridge Monkey is that you can sort of put it where you want it to preference on the heat, which is the old round one you couldn't, you kind of tipped off. So that's one of the bonuses of this cooker. But as you can see, it's all starting to come to the boil. I'm just going to put the lid over, steam it up a little bit, and then we just got the finishings to do. Okay, let's take a little look in it. As you can see, we've got a lovely simmer going on with the vegetables, which you want to retain the crispness because that's all part of the fun of it and makes it more delicious and more nutritional. The rice there, the water's pretty much evaporated out of there and the rice is in fact hot. So the last thing left to do, I'm just going to give my chilli sauce because it's homemade, it needs a good shake. All we have to do now is tip some of this over. And that's going to be our sauce now for the chicken. Okay, I'm just boiling the sauce a little bit to get it hot, and as it reduces, it thickens as well. But I'm just going to get the vegetables lifted off out of there. So we'll lift off the rice first. This microwave rice is perfect for cooking in the Ridge Monkey with a little bit of water. It just fluffs it up a treat. That's that bit. And then we're just going to lift out the pak choy, drain it off a little bit. And then we've got our mange too and baby corn. Turn that plate round, ready to serve up onto the... Let's turn the Ridge Monkey off. There we go. We're just going to lift off the chicken breast. And then we just need some of the sauce. So you've got a slight creaminess there from the Philadelphia. Rather a nice flavour from our homemade chilli sauce, but as I say, you could just buy any sweet chilli sauce and use. And in fact, if you wanted to, you could just not stuff the chicken breast at all and just cook it up literally just with the sweet chilli sauce, it's on its own. There we go, let's just clean the plate up. There we go. A lovely feast to eat by the bank, or indeed at home. We're going to do a bit of a British classic. We've got faggots, which are made from our local butcher. We've got some new potatoes in a tin, just for pure simplicity. We're going to put some onion gravy with the faggots. I've got a jar that I brought back from France of vegetables, but you could use any sort of vegetables. And then for instant gravy, we've just got some gravy mix. So we're just going to literally cook up this dish. Really nice lunch, really tasty, a bit of British. That's the way we like it. Here we go. So first thing I'm going to do is, let's clear the gap there for you, is cut up an onion. I'm just going to leave it in half rings, just for a visual thing more than anything. So we're going to put those in the pan. A little dash of oil. And then get that whole thing cooking up. While that's going on, I'm just going to put the vegetables into these side sections. The water that it's in will be perfectly fine, I think. I'm just going to drop those in. And then we're going to open that up, fill up this section. Drain off some of the juice and then put some water on it. Obviously those are going to be pretty much cooked anyway, so they're not going to need very much attention. And then the faggots, you can cook them whole like that. I tend to split them in half. There we go, we'll cook two. There we go, and then once the onions are soft, we'll add the faggots to the pan and pan fry those as well. So as you can see, the colour on the onions is starting to colour up now. We're going to put the faggots in, but one of the things that I really like with faggots, and this is just a personal thing, is I like the sweetness of an apple. So Steve's just gone off to pick me one off of the tree down by the lake. Thank you very much.
Red enough?
Red enough, lovely. So I'm going to cook that in this section. But in the meantime, just going to spread the onions so that I can get contact with the faggots on the bottom of the pan. Move the onions up and over. There we go. So now they just need to fry up. Obviously faggots are actually cooked, so we're just reheating them. So now I'm just going to put this apple in. Nice to leave the red of the skin on. A little tad of oil in there. And then just put our apples in to cook. There we go. Now it's just a waiting game. Okay, so we now need to turn the faggots over, because there's some colour on the bottom of them with any luck. There we go. So now we just need to heat the other side. Okay, so we're at the stage now, everything's sort of ready. I'm just going to move the faggots all up one end. Because what I want to do is just make the gravy at this concentrated end. A little bit of water. We'll get that hot a minute. And then we'll add our gravy granules to thicken up. Okay, so we've got water boiling in with the onions there, so now we just need to add a few gravy granules. So add a few at a time, just to thicken up that water. And as you can see, it's all thickening up. If you make it too thick, it's not a problem, just add a little bit more water. And then what we'll do is we'll just move our faggots to so that they're sat back down into the gravy. Sink the onions down, so you want it all coated. And we pretty much have a dish to serve up now. Okay, we promised you another pudding. I've got a bit of an English classic for you, Spotted Dick. It's slightly different to the original version because it's made slightly differently, but I'm going to try using a sponge method today. We've got butter, we've got sugar, we've got self-raising flour, we've got currants, we've got egg. Basically, I'm going to make that all into a sponge. First thing we need to do is I've got a bit of water in here. That's going to be our steaming platform to steam it. So we're just going to get this lit. So we'll get that up. Whilst I'm doing that, we'll put everything in the bowl ready to go. We'll just mix it all together. So the currants, sugar, and the flour, all going in.
Bit windy today.
Bit windy, yeah. There we go. Let's just deflour myself. So we've got all the ingredients in there. Just going to break up that butter a little bit, which is soft, not chilled. Mix it all together. Starting to all come together there. Give it a good beating. This is sort of a one portion size Spotted Dick really. You can use any quantity of equal ingredients. I've used 2 ounces of everything. If you wanted to beef it up a bit, you could add 3 or 4 ounces of everything. So there we have our sponge batter. It did occur to me as well that you could use those 1 cup sponge mixes that you buy in a sachet and then add your currants to it if you had like a lemon sponge, because lemon's a really good flavouring in Spotted Dick. But as for now, you see my water's just coming to a boil, so this is going to be what we're going to cook the sponge in. This is parchment with foil on the other side. So we'll put the foil in the water because that's the waterproof bit. And I'm going to basically lump that in there. It's a little bit crude, but it's rustic and it will taste great. I'm just going to spread it a little bit, just more for anything, just to speed up the cooking time. That's it. And then we're going to shut the lid on it now and just let it steam. Make sure you keep the water levels in it at all times. Don't want it to boil dry. You can just lift the lid up, pull the edge of the foil up, have a look at the water, pour some water down, shut the lid again. But the important thing with cooking cakes or puddings like this is you need to keep the lid, you need a vacuum of steam in there, and that's what's going to make the whole thing rise. So we'll just wait now and see what happens. Okay, let's just have a look at the sponge here. Last look it was doing pretty well. So just a touch, When it springs back like that, that means it's done, and it's obviously set. So now we just need to heat up a little bit of custard to go with that. So we're just going to heat the custard up, and then we're ready to serve our pudding. So I'm just going to leave the sponge in there while the custard's heating. It's not coming to any harm because we've got the water underneath, so not a problem. Let's just give a couple minutes and we're there. Okay, let's have a look here. So we've got a firm sponge, really firm to the touch. We're just going to lift that out. There we go, turn the gas off. And then we're just going to lift this off onto the plate. There we go. And then we just need some, where did I put my spoon? There we go. Some of this custard. There we have it. We have spotted dick made in the Ridge Monkey. How's that?
Okay, we've come to the end of our holiday session. We've been here from Saturday, it's now Thursday afternoon. We had a slow start, but we built the spots up and we've caught a few fish towards the end. So we thought we might share with you what we've actually learnt this holiday. So what have you learnt, Luke?
Tie knots correctly.
The reason he learnt that is because he lost a fish because he didn't quite get the knots right. What have you learnt, Margot?
I've learnt that precision casting and clipping up is all important. The meters matter. You know, when I've got tight into the margins, that's when I've caught. And I've been baiting up and catching over it. So yeah, that's my lesson learned. Probably obvious, but good for me.
Definitely on a session it pays to build your spots. We started really carefully, and by the end of it we have in fact used nearly 25 kilos of bait between us. So building the spots up, and we got more and more runs towards the end of the week. I've learnt that it's not always worth getting up early, spending more hours on the bank. I've probably spent an extra 4 hours a day to these two. I get up at first light, and I've not caught or even had a run between first light and 10:30. We've been told that this is a night water. We've not fished the nights. We get to 11:30, 12 o'clock, and we've wound in and we've had some sleep. I have, however, seen a couple of lovely sunrises and a couple of really miserable mornings. But I wouldn't have changed it for the world. I love being out there. So until next time, from an epic Cooking and Carpin, we're done.
Bye.
Bye. It wasn't as epic as France.